with Half Dozen Customs. We're back out here for a little Monte Monday action. This past two Mondays, we did our little giveaway for our anniversary of the Monte Carlo videos. So we got that sent out, so hopefully you'll be getting that soon if you're watching. I know that I said that we were going to dig out the bumpers in the next video. I actually painted some stuff last night, so it's sitting over there doing its cure thing. So it's the only free day that I have to actually do some work on the Monte Carlo, because I can't be working over there around the fresh paint. And it is currently raining out. We got the whole thunder and lightning thing going on. So some good thunderstorms rolling through. So we're not going to be doing the bumper thing today. So I think what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of put together what we took apart trying to get these headers in. Just so that we don't have parts laying around and, you know, stuff kind of half bolted together and whatnot. It's probably going to have to come back apart again when we do get the proper headers. After the last header video, I did call Speedway and I talked with their G-body specialist up there, and they recommended a set of headers that they said should bolt right in. They are long tube headers. Only problem is that they're $900 and some odd. So not going to be picking those up anytime soon. I don't know exactly which route we're going to go. I don't know if we're going to go that route, or I was talking with my buddy who has a Jeep, and he has an exhaust guide. When we did the LS motor in this Jeep, they don't exactly make headers that just bolt right in. It's not a typical vehicle that people put LS's in. The research that we've done, we've only been able to find a few people who actually did it. So what we did was we ordered a set of headers. I don't know what exactly they were for, but then we took them up to the exhaust shop and they cut them and modified them and made them work. Excuse me. So that's also an option that we can do. I can take this set of headers up to the shop with the vehicle and have them make them, or we can, you know, order one of those make it yourself kits and have them do it. But in order to do that, we would, you know, I think the car would have to be farther along, definitely it would have to be movable, which it's not at the moment. So header thing is just kind of a lost cause at the moment. We will address that situation later. So we're going to kind of put this stuff back together. We do have this steering piece down here which never got painted. So once we get this put together, I think we may throw that piece in the blast cabin, get that blasted up. We'll hang it up, throw a little 2-in-1 at it, get that painted, and we'll see where we're at from there. There is a couple of pieces that are sitting in the corner over here behind me, that they mount to the front of the firewall, and it's what like the header panel mounts to, and we sandblasted them last year at some point, and we never finished them. They're still pretty clean, but there is some surface rust that pop back up. So when we're sandblasting this piece, I may throw those in there and we'll clean those up, and then we'll 2-in-1 those when we 2-in-1 this. So that's possible. I think that's what we're just kind of looking at for today, and then we'll figure something out for next week. So, weather permitting, of course. Not to keep talking, I do want to get to work. These last few days have been super nice out. We've been in the 60s, which is awesome for February. I'm gonna start by putting the spark plugs back in. And looking at the weather, we're not gonna have the 60s anymore. It looks like we're gonna be like 30s and 40s again, which I am not complaining whatsoever. It has been a pretty easy winter for us. We've been in the 30s and 40s for most of the winter, and the last pretty much all of January was brutally cold. So there wasn't much we could do during that. So being 30s and 40s out, I'm not complaining. But if it's cold out and crappy out, we may not be digging around in the back of that truck. If you guys haven't noticed yet, I hate the cold. Born and raised in Chicago, or just outside of Chicago, I should say. So I should be used to the cold, but I absolutely hate it. So I'm just put the plugs back in. They've been out for a few weeks probably, which is two weeks too long. So I'm gonna tape these exhaust holes back up since we're not gonna be putting any headers on. I'll tell you what, man, we really knocked a lot of paint off of the frame trying to get that header in and out. Getting it out was a pain in the butt. I didn't video getting it back out. I actually had to pull the whole steering column out. And even with pulling the steering column out, it was still a heck of a fight. But yeah, we really gouged up the frame, so I'm gonna have to go back in there and touch that up. Gotta get this motor mount bolt back in. Alright, so we got that stuff put back together. Let's go underneath and do the transmission real quick. Okay, hopefully you guys can kind of see me. The light for my camera, I must have left it on or something because it was dead. Yes, I'm using a crescent wrench, don't judge me. It was right next to me. Okay. I think we got that pretty much done. I'm gonna clean up a couple tools real quick. I'm sure you guys don't want to watch that. So this is the part that I'm gonna throw in the blast cabinet, clean up, and we'll paint it. We'll probably take this over to the workbench over there, and we are going to do our best to clean up this plastic. I'm not worried about this stuff in here because once it's put together you won't see it, but this down here is what I want to get cleaned up. And I want to clean up this plastic. I don't want to sandblast the plastic. I don't want to paint the plastic. We're just going to do the best we can to get it cleaned up. It should clean up pretty nicely. And then, you know, that should be about it. It looks like our boot is a little ripped there. Yeah, I don't know. Well, probably won't do much with that. Maybe just silicone it so that it keeps the elements out, and that'll be it. So we'll be back. So I brought this piece over as well. We can get that piece cleaned up. Let's work on this guy first. I don't want to use too much of like scraper on this plastic. I don't want to gouge up the plastic. Trying to get up here. We got some PR15 on this. I think for the most part it looks pretty good. Let's see if we can make it look a little better here. So on most plastics, interior pieces, plastic bumpers, stuff like that, if you hit it with a heat gun, it'll make it shiny. Okay, well, it helped, but I think it, you know, it brought the color back, got rid of that fogginess that was in there, but definitely not getting rid of the scratches and gouges in there. Good enough. I'm gonna throw it in the blast cabinet real quick, and we'll blast this up, and then we'll go from there. So since we got this all cleaned, might as well just finish it up and then we'll jump to this guy. We got this guy blasted up and cleaned up. What I'm gonna do, try and save this if we can. I'm gonna Pump some grease in here. I don't want to pack it completely full because I don't want it to, when you start moving it around, just blow our hole out again. Now I don't know if this is going to work. It would be nice if I had some like black silicone, but I do not. So I have some clear silicone. Before we do that, just so that we're not moving it around. I know it looks white, but it dries clear. First little chunk that shot out of there was not very soft. Should have squeezed it off first. I don't know how well this is going to work, but at least we can say we tried. Okay, we'll let this kind of set up before we paint. So we'll set this aside and we'll get started on this. We'll be right back. Hopefully did you guys get to see what I did? I think so. Yeah, sure. So, like I said, it'll dry clear, and then, you know, we're gonna spray all that anyway. So, at least hopefully it'll, you know, we put some fresh grease in there. You know, it might not last. It might split back open, but hopefully it'll help. So what would probably work better is if I had some like window weld, but I don't have any. So it is what it is. At least we tried. Okay, we're back. Let's see what we can do about cleaning this up. I was hoping to not have to sandblast this. Now, this is lacquer thinner. Is it just going to peel all my paint off? Sure it is. So, you may ask why I'm sitting here scrubbing this with a lacquer rag instead of using my degreaser tank, my wash tank. You know, if you guys didn't see the earlier videos, I drained it for the winter. So there's nothing in it at the moment. And the stuff that, you know, that's a Harbor Freight wash tank. And I put the Harbor Freight cleaner in there. And that stuff is just useless. So this year when we fill it, I'm gonna get something different. There's some stuff online. When we do it, I'll post what it is. But supposedly it's supposed to be the best stuff on the market. So maybe we will throw this in the blast cabinet and clean it up. Lacquer thinner is peeling the paint, so but we'll try and still clean as much grease off of here as we can so that it's not loading up my blast cabinet with grease. So it looks like this has been painted before, and that's what's coming off. Alright, good enough. You'll never see that anyways. Alright, I'll throw this in the blast cabinet. We'll get it blasted up. Sorry I don't video really much of anything when it comes to the blast cabinet, because once you start blasting in there, you guys can't see nothing. It's just it's hard for me to see, let alone trying to video it. So we'll get this blasted up, and we'll be back. Okay, so we're back. We got this piece all sandblasted up. I'm going to go in for lunch. We'll let that silicone on that stuff dry up some more. It is drying up, but it's not ready for paint yet. So we'll come out here later. We need to hit this with the DA before, you know, DA scuff pad before we spray it. And then we still have those 3 front pieces for that core support that, like I said, I've already sandblasted them, but they've been sitting in the corner for a while, and some surface rust has came back. Not horrible, but basically where I had touched it. So we'll go through, we'll clean those up as well. We'll run over those with, you know, scuff pad, wire wheel, DA, whatever we need to do to get those cleaned up, as well as this piece. and maybe we'll clean up that steering shaft a little bit as well. And then yeah, we'll get some paint on them. We'll get them hung up and we'll get them painted. So we'll be back. Okay, we're back out here. We got these parts all sandblasted up. Sorry about the rain. Hot tin roof. It is raining hard out there. We gotta get these parts cleaned up after sandblasting. We are going to use our new Art Captain tool that they sent us out. It's a battery operated grinder. We're going to throw a little wire wheel cup on there and get these all cleaned up. So I'll see you guys on the other side. Let's get to it. What's nice about this thing is I'm able to, there's 3,300 RPM, 6,500 RPM, and 9,500 RPM. And we're running on the 3,500 RPM, or 3,300 RPM. Much more controllable than using my electrical guy. Okay, so we got these all cleaned up and hung up. I got some of my 2-in-1. It's just Rust-Oleum paint primer mix. That's what I use on all my inside stuff. You know, if it was an outside piece, it would be getting base coat, clear coat, but it's an inside piece, so put a few coats on this, and then I think we're going to put a coat or two of some flat matte clear on. If you guys haven't seen my videos, my other videos of me doing that, we put a few coats of this on while it's still wet. We put some flat matte clear on there, and it kind of gives you like a semi-gloss look. So that's what we're going to be doing. Let's get to it. It'd be nice to have these parts all painted up. They've been, all these front end pieces have been sitting in the corner for 6 months. I had already sandblasted them once. Okay, probably gonna put 3 coats on, at least 3 coats on. If it needs more, of course, we'll put more on, but I'm not gonna make you guys watch me do all of that. So we will see you guys back here when it's time to put some flat matte clear on. Okay, we cut it real close there. I got like 2 1/4 coats on it. I got 2 coats on it, and then I was able to go through and just kind of hit anything that I missed. And we were out. I did not realize going into this project that I was almost out of that black 2-in-1. We just bought a case of this, and for some odd reason I was thinking that I had a case of the black. Normally I order this stuff by the case, and the last time that I got it I must have only grabbed a can or two. I don't remember exactly what we used it on, but I went through all my paint selection and there was only the one can in there, and there was only like a quarter of a can. So we're cutting it close. Got the clear here. I'm gonna get this shaken up, and we'll blow a couple coats of this on there. So if you haven't seen my other videos, when we do this to get that semi-gloss look, I don't always get it perfect. I don't always nail it. If you do it too soon, it'll cause fish eyes. This black that we just put on there it's Rust-Oleum. It's oil based. This is also Rust-Oleum, but it's lacquer. So it's two different kind of paint products. Technically you shouldn't be doing what I'm doing, but I do it anyways. If you put it on too soon, it'll cause the black to fish eye. If you put it on too late, it will wrinkle. So now I've had some parts wrinkle up on me and they look like that wrinkle paint that you can buy, and it doesn't look horrible, but I try not to do it. So like I said, I normally put on 2 coats. First coat, light coat, very light coat. Alright, we'll come back in like 10 minutes. We'll put a second coat on there, and it should look really good. We'll be back. Okay, waited about 10 minutes. We're going to put our second coat on. The reason I waited about 10 minutes is because this side of the shop is probably 50 degrees maybe, so a little on the chillier side. One thing that I really like about this clear, I've said it in other videos, stuff sprays awesome. Wish I could get the paint to spray like this. Okay, now we got these all sprayed up. I may have did some talking in between there. I don't know if that'll be in the video or not. I just did a whole closeout for the video and realized that I had the TV on in there playing some Puddin's Fab Shop. If you guys have never seen his videos, go check him out. And yeah, so I think I kind of screwed up that ending by having the TV going. But we got these all sprayed up. We're gonna let them dry. They should look really good, or at least good enough. And yeah, so we're gonna end the video here. Sorry we didn't get those bumpers pulled out today. It has just been raining and pouring all day. So maybe next week we'll get to those. Don't know. I will think about it over the next week of you know, where we're gonna go with the Monte Carlo. I've told you guys before that, you know, we're kind of trying to keep some videos going for the Monte Carlo, but my main concern is that Jeep. I know the videos are behind on that Jeep. I've explained that multiple times in other videos that we record. I work on that Jeep 6-7 days a week, and I record every day. And for us to put a week's worth of videos together for that Jeep video at the end of the week, they would either, we would have to cut so much of the work out, or they would end up being like 4-hour videos, and frankly Colleen doesn't have time to do that. I mean, she does work a full-time job, so you know, we're just kind of behind on those Jeep videos, but the Jeep is getting close to being done. So once we get this Jeep done and it goes home, the Monte Carlo video should pick back up. There should be some more work being done on it. I won't be limited to, you know, one day of work on the Monte Carlo, or, you know, as of right now, like struggling just to get an hour or two in on it just so that we can make you guys videos. And I feel bad that I'm doing that, like, you know, I'm trying to do an hour or two on it just to get you guys a video. I feel like I'm kind of cheating you guys on that because it's really not my main priority at the moment. But pretty soon we'll be back to it being a priority in the shop. I'll be back to work on this mini truck. I haven't touched this all winter. Mainly the Jeep is part of it, but mainly because it's just too cold on this side of the shop. I haven't been heating it. But we'll figure some stuff out hopefully for next week. You know, maybe now that we got that steering piece painted, we can put the steering column back in and get the steering stuff hooked back up. You know, I know we've already had so much of that car taken apart that hasn't been put back together yet, as far as like suspension and steering and stuff like that goes. I don't wanna keep that rhythm going. I would like to finish something and get it put back together. Yeah, everything looks good. Maybe we can put that trans cover on as well. Hopefully we won't have to pull too much stuff back apart to get those headers in whenever we decide to do that. But yeah, guys, these real quick. Remember to like, subscribe, share, leave a comment. I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm out.
Oh.